Hello, everyone. My name is Davida. I am a naturopath specializing in thyroid and gut health. And today I want to talk about one of the first strategies that I absolutely love to recommend to my clients in clinical practice, and that is seeing the sunrise. So, doing so kind of activates a lot of really key things within the body. Number one, what it's going to do is it's going to set this strong foundation for our circadian rhythm, and that starts off our day in the right way. So it gives our timekeeper in the brain, which is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the clock mechanism in the brain that signals to our body what time of day it is, the exact time of day. So basically, having spent all night in darkness, hopefully, ideally you've been in darkness all night and all night, and we'll talk about that in a different video. But when you're waking up, you need to signal to your brain what time of day it is. So what I'll do is I'll always recommend for clients to figure out what time sunrise is happening where they live, and that will change all throughout the year. There's a great app that I recommend to use. It's listed on my product recommendations guide, and you can just plug in your location and it'll tell you exactly what time sunrise is happening at that particular time of year. You could also use like the weather app on your phone, Weather Channel, something like that. But the point is that you want to get out right before the sunrise and you want to get that light into your eyes. So, however, you end up figuring out when the sunrise is happening in your area, what you want to do is you want to get outside as close as possible to sunrise as humanly possible. For me, that will usually mean like a couple minutes before, and it's the first thing that I do right after rolling out of bed. I'll get right outside, get my feet into the grass, and just take a few minutes, to actually center myself for the day. And you want to sky gaze east at the time of sunrise. Now, in terms of duration, consistency is the most important thing here. It's much more important. So it doesn't have to be an obscenely long amount of time. Like we're talking anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes or so is plenty. And I'm a person who has tons of things going on each and every day. So I like things that are short, actionable, and effective. And I really tell people like aim for, 2 minutes a day is great. It's much better than like 20 minutes once a week. But I'll step outside. I'll typically get my bare feet onto the earth, and I'll face east. And, I'll mention more regarding why the bare feet on the earth, and we'll get into the science of that in a different video. But for the purpose of this, we could just basically say that having the bare feet on the earth is a way that we gather free electrons from the earth, and it also grounds and geolocates us. So if at all possible, season permitting, weather permitting, I like to have my bare feet grounded on the earth, naked eyes, so no glasses. The glasses has to come off because the light signal needs to be able to really penetrate my eye and hit receptors at the backs of my eyes. And then I'm just staring to the brightest portion of the sky. I don't need to obviously be staring like at the ball of the sun. It's just in that direction, is perfectly great. Now, this will be effective whether it is gray, whether it is sunny, whether it is raining, it's foggy, it does not matter. Our eyes have the capability to actually pull in all the different colors of light, no matter what the sky appears like that day. So even if it's a beautifully clear day or if it's a cloudy day, a lot of people are like, what do I do when it's cloudy? It doesn't matter. Our bodies are intelligent and they will pick up on the exact wavelengths of light that will signal a time of day in the brain. So really, really important to get outside. It's a key strategy, and it's really important to recognize that when it comes to window glass will actually block out a lot of the very important wavelengths of light. So it's really important to actually be outside. Or at worst, hopefully, if you have a window that is facing east, you could open that window so that you're able to like see the sky directly through the screen. If you live in a high rise or something like that, that could be, another alternative that you employ. Now, I like to take a few minutes in the morning to kind of set the tone for my day. So as I'm doing this, I will be placing my hands on my body somewhere that I feel I intuitively need a little bit of extra support. I'll be starting to take some deep breaths. I'll maybe be offering up like a prayer or a little moment of gratitude, focusing on what I appreciate in my life. Just maybe envisioning how I want my day to go. And I also really like to sometimes do a little bit of breath work to like really get things flowing and moving. If I have a few extra minutes to spend, I'll really start to work, my lymph nodes and really start to open up here at the termini where our lymph fluid drains. I'll like be doing that while observing the sunrise, to kind of just like get the best benefit of starting my body off in an energized and supported fashion. Um, Now, it's really important to understand that the consistency is the most important aspect of this practice. Being outside is key. And you really want to try to get that to happen as many of the days of the week as you can, you know? Now, one of the coolest things about being outside for sunrise is that that's when, we have this beautiful, just in like beautiful wavelength ratio of red light, infrared light, and also the first appearance of blue lights, right? And it's actually the blue wavelength range of light that our brain is keying in on. So it's actually our hypothalamus. That's the region of our brain that has the little clock that is keying in on this time of day. And that's the same area of the brain that is responsible for communicating with my thyroid, with my ovaries, with my adrenal glands, you name it, right? It's responsible for communicating with a lot of different parts and pathways in the body. So when I can get outside during that really key window of time at sunrise, I'm reinforcing the hormone production pathways in my body. I'm syncing them up with the correct time of day. And now, even if I can't go outside, there are times of year where it's really hard maybe, or like I'm in the car early or something like that, and it's just like having the sunroof open and that's all I can manage. That's okay. You do whatever you can. Maybe you're in the gym super early in the morning. I've definitely had lots of clients that are like in the gym before sunrise. They've got their blue blocking glasses on, and then, at the moment of sunrise, maybe they pop out of the gym to take in a few moments of that sunrise. But the point is that we're trying to make this happen and give this signal to the brain as consistently as possible through our schedule. It definitely doesn't have to be perfect. Like consistency over perfection every time. I hope you guys are really getting that message. Just recognize that even if you only have 30 seconds, getting outside or getting to a place where you can see the bare sky with your eyes, with no glasses, no sunglasses, nothing, and sky gazing east is going to really make a difference in how your body is operating. It's making this impact because of, nonlinear effects at the quantum scale. If there's anything that you do first in your day, I would highly, highly encourage you to be outside for sunrise. And, we want to be getting that message to the brain, communicating that message, and starting to sync up our circadian rhythm with these natural light dark cycles in our environment. And what that does is it's going to ensure that, to the best of your body's ability, all of your cellular tasks are going to be synced for the day. Now, one small thing, like I mentioned with my clients who are out of the house super early, maybe like 5 a.m.ers, and they're in the gym, we do want to be blocking artificial light before sunrise. So this is really important to understand that the first signal of light that we want into the eyes is ideally that bare eyes sunrise gaze, which means taking care not to look at our phones first thing in the morning, which is a great practice to be in anyway, right? Like how many of us, and myself included, for so long have been guilty of like looking at the phone first thing and just getting that like spike of cortisol, shock of blue light to the system. Or alternatively, you wake up in darkness and you're like flipping on all these artificial lights in your house, you know? So we don't want to artificially stimulate the release of that big spike of cortisol with the artificial light. What we want to make sure is that if we're getting up before it is light out, we are protecting the brain and are protecting our physiology by wearing a pair of orange tone blue blockers. This is really important. And also another thing that I do is I'll set my phone screen to red like this. All my computer screens are set like this after sundown. So, you have this and you have the glasses, and that if you do need to check something on your phone before the sun comes up, you're able to protect your eyes and protect your brain. And then, when the time comes, you can remove your glasses and you'll be able to kind of get that strong circadian signaling. And really, this is because it's the blue light frequency that is the most important stimulus for that suprachiasmatic nucleus, that clock in the brain. And if we get the wrong signal, the wrong light right off the bat, it's extremely stressful for our physiology. We don't really think about light as a stressor, but it is. So, this is one of the first most foundational primary interventions that I teach clients in clinical practice is to get those sunrise eyes, get outside, get that light into the eyes, and allow your body and your physiology to start normalizing this and self-correcting.